Hi, this is Jim from Trek World, and today we're going to take a brief look at the top 10 most expensive Star Trek items to ever sell at auction. Please be sure to check out these other popular videos about Season 1 in our series covering Star Trek in the 1960s. And also, please be sure to hit that like button below the video so that YouTube will recommend this video to other folks who have not yet discovered it. The number one most expensive item in Star Trek history is the phaser rifle that was designed for the second pilot, where no man has gone before. A toy company had made arrangements to build the prop in exchange for the right to make Star Trek toys. After the series was sold, Roddenberry decided he really didn't want to do business with that toy company, so they simply turned the phaser rifle back over to them, and what happened next was literally lost in the annals of time. But in 2013, the owner of the prop, which by the way is the same man who invented the game of life, shocked the world when he put the rifle for sale at an auction. The buyer of that auction would then go on to place another auction in November of 2021, and the rifle would sell there for the whopping amount of $615,000. So in June of 2006, Paramount celebrated the 40th anniversary of Star Trek by auctioning off what is still today considered to be the largest group of Star Trek items ever listed together. In that auction, the model of the Enterprise D sold for a staggering $576,000. And yes, factoring in inflation, that would actually make this the most valuable item currently at around $840,000. But I'm not going to consider inflation under normal circumstances because it really doesn't change the order of the items listed in this video other than these first two. Now, the Klingon Bird of Prey model sold there as well for $307,200. Now, of note, the model had originally been designed to have the wings raise and lower. However, somewhere along the line, it became damaged and the wings were left in the extended position. Yet it still sold for over $300,000. Now, back in June of 2002, the actual Captain Kirk chair was put up for auction by Bob Justman, and it sold for $304,750, making it at that time the most expensive Star Trek prop of all time to be sold. Now, once again, we have another Christie's entry. The Enterprise refit model sold that day for $284,200. So in July of 2021, one of the most stunning pieces to ever show up was a completely unknown Hero Type 2 phaser from the original series. Now, a hero version of a prop is one that works as much as humanly possible. Lights, buttons, dials, sound, you name it. One of the most remarkable things about the hero phaser models is that the Type 1 phasers can be removed and used without the pistol grip, as you can see in these photographs. And that is exactly how we ended up with a hero model that no one knew existed. In the late 1960s, Desilu had sent a spare pistol grip Type 2 phaser to Hua Chang for him to do repairs. Now, as mentioned in another video, Desilu was forced to cut ties with Chang, even to the point that they could not pay him. Now, there's no mention at all in anything that has ever been searched for to indicate there had been another fully functional Hero Type 2 phaser, which means that this grip was most likely a spare part, much like the power pack and handle that also came with it that was detachable. So this Type 2 phaser stayed in Chang's possession for years, until it was either given or sold to another man. In the meantime, someone who had worked on Star Trek during its second season had also made off with a Type 1 hero phaser. Now, these two gentlemen discovered each other and decided that a completely reunited phaser was worth more than the sum of its parts. And they were right, to the tune of $250,000. Now, when Star Trek first went on the air, they had made a series of phasers in their Union shop that really didn't hold up well to be used for close-ups in Star Trek. Seen here, you can easily make out that the surface details are completely missing. Not missing like they've been lost, they were literally not there to begin with. These were created out of fiberglass, a single piece, meaning that they didn't separate in any way like a hero would. Nonetheless, they are still extremely valuable, as you can see here, when this one sold in 2018 for a respectable $192,000. Going back to our Christie's auction again, we come to the most unique entry in our top 10. The environmental suit worn by DeForest Kelley in the Tholian Web, which sold that day for $144,000. Now, also on that day, the very last studio model ever made of an actual Enterprise was sold for $132,000. Now, I'm actually surprised it didn't go for more. It is easily the most beautiful of all the studio models to still survive, owed very much due to the fact that it is one of the youngest studio models in existence and was completely wired from bow to stern. Seen here is Adam Schneider, the gentleman who also bought the Galileo and restored her for donation to the Houston Space Center. I have had the opportunity to talk with him, and he was very congenial and friendly. In fact, it was during this call that he brought up the fact that it is actually amazing that our mutual passion for Star Trek allows us to meet and talk to people that otherwise we would never have an opportunity to do so with. He was absolutely correct, and it's one of the things I love best about doing these videos. In a world today where there is so much strife, violence, and uncertainty, Star Trek shows us that as fans, we have far more that binds us together than we do that pulls us apart. And lastly, completing our top 10, the studio model for the Deep Space Nine station sold at Christie's on that day for $132,000. Please be sure to check out these other popular videos about Season 1 in our series covering Star Trek in the 1960s. And also, please be sure to hit that like button below the video so that YouTube will recommend this video to other folks who have not yet discovered it.